DJ LeRoy.
NightWatchman, how you doing, buddy?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. So, NightWatchman, I don't want you to be biased, okay? But you did see, of course, the debate. When was that? That was on Thursday. And did you think there were any clear winners or losers? Just checking.
I mean, I don't want to give my political opinion, but I'm with Mandani.
Oh, wow. Wow. Even though you're an OG, though, the OGs typically, they go with the establishment stuff, but you're going to actually
come on, Cuomo, stop it. See, now you made me talk about it.
Okay.
Cuomo and Curtis Lee. Well, I know his name is Curtis, but come on, there's good Curtises and there's bad Curtises.
Wow.
So,
wow. But at some point, so that other Curtis, he was kind of funny. You know that,
bro.
Okay.
Honestly, I didn't watch it because I've already made up my mind. So why give it that time? So
I got you,
right,
buddy. I got you.
So these opinions are only mine, not of the station WACR or DJ LeRoy.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? On that, we need some treats. You know this, right?
Absolutely, the treats and the sweets. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah. Let's go. Okay, so you know what? We have all three newbies coming on Soul Lounge Prime Time. Right. So what? Okay. So why do we bring up? Because you said the word. You said sweets. What about some LA sweets? What about Loretta Calderon? Yes.
Hi.
Right, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And then another one. At first, when she first came out onto the stage, I saw this like red cap, and I had my suspicions, but then she turned it around, and you know what it said? Boss lady, baby. Yes. All right. How you doing, Aaliyah Baylor?
I'm doing great. It's a joy to be here. I appreciate you. And
absolutely. Oh man. So NightWatchman, I'm thinking I want one scoop or two, maybe two. What about Petrushka? Yes, Bazin. Now, NightWatchman, you know what we really miss? We miss the fact that when we were in the studio, we would force them to bring some samples.
We would never force. We would only suggest
strongly that you bring some samples. So please. Ladies, I really want to hear about your entrepreneurial journey. So Loretta, why don't we start off with you, okay? Tell us how you came into that particular circle, sweets and all those good tasting things. Tell us, all right?
Well, before I started, which was about 8 years ago, I used to do hair and makeup for a lot of celebrities. Ooh. And I used to always bring treats to the set. And they would say, here come LA with those sweets. So that's how, when we came here, we started with the name LA Sweets NY. So it's Loretta Austin Sweets in New York.
Beautiful. Now, how many years ago was that, would you say? Go ahead.
Well, that was I started doing this about 8 years ago. So I was doing hair and makeup for about 30 years before this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So, of course, Aliyyah, do tell us that entrepreneurial journey. Have you always had this in your DNA?
I am the apprentice of the matriarch of our family, Joanne Baylor. I mean, I can never start my day without talking about her and her 82-year-old self that still is in the bakery, running circles around a lot of us young ones. And my journey started as her apprentice at 12 years old. And I took on the business, the home-based business at that time in 1988 and then in 95, which makes us 30 years as a retail business in Harlem. This coming month, we open up our first retail stop in Harlem. And the journey has been just fabulous. I mean, this has been an amazing cakewalk. Dedication, a pure dedication. And like you started to say about 20 years ago, and I am definitely grateful for my home of Harlem that has really kept us going and kept us uplifted through these decades.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for that. And Petrushka, so I'm thinking I should maybe just say Dos Vidania. How'd you end up with Petrushka as that name? I love it. That's one. And then two, do tell me about your entrepreneurial journey. And yes.
Okay. So I have a Russian name because my dad is Haitian. There are a lot of folks from Haiti and the DR that have Eastern European names. And every time I say it, people are like, "Oh yeah, I do know a Dominican guy named Vladimir." Or so I was named after Igor Stravinsky's score Petrushka, but I got there because my dad is Haitian. And so Sugar Hill Creamery came to be in 2017 because I've been in Harlem. I've been in New York the majority of my life, but in Harlem since 2004. And over the course of this time, there was no ice cream. There was, there was no, outside of Baskin and Robbins, there was no like ice cream that somebody made by hand. And I, like many children, used to eat ice cream. My mom and I used to walk across a bridge to go to Baskin and Robbins when I was younger, but I fell in love with like really good ice cream when I was in grad school in San Francisco. And so when I came back to Harlem, several years later, I was like, well, Harlem doesn't have this. We should open it. I mean, there's more to the story, but to save you all the details, in short, we were filling a culinary gap.
And maybe also having a supportive husband could have something. Okay.
Absolutely. No, I mean, Nick is the catalyst, right? Like my background is not in hospitality. It's in museum, like curatorial practice, education, etc. But he always said when we first started dating, I was like, "Oh, what do you want to do with your life?" And he's like, "I guess I want to open a place one day." And I was like, "Okay, dog ear that." And then, I was just telling the story last night, like there was an invitation, and that invitation was not necessarily a positive invitation. Sometimes the invitation to the party is not the party you always want to go to. And in this case, he was the general manager of this restaurant, and the chef owner decided to close it. So everybody was out of a job just quite instantly. And so that invitation was an opportunity to think about what's the next stage, right? Are you going to continue to operate other establishments and like not be at home with these children? Or do you want to, work at that same level, but to build something that is your own? And so we took that invitation to that party. And we still at the party 8 years later.
Gotcha. Yes. Very, very nice. Yeah. Well, now LA, hair and makeup. Okay. So do tell now to LA Sweets. And also, Loretta, come on now. In terms of, let's say, actually bricks and mortar, that can be expensive. So do tell, making that Jeep, how'd you do it?
Well, just a lot of family and friends. We pulled together and they saw that I had a dream and they just pulled together to help make it happen. And, I used to live over here in Harlem. I used to live like 2 blocks from where LA Sweets is now.
Really?
Yeah, okay. I lived right there on the corner of Lenox. And I lived there for about 10 years. So when it was time to open up a bakery, I'm like, okay, do I want to do, because I want to do hair and makeup at first, but then I said, there's no bakeries like within this area right here. So, family and friends and my mom, it was part of her dream as well. So this is what we did.
Well, welcome for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And Aliyyah, I know that you already heard me, bricks and mortar. First, I remember, of course, on Adam Clayton Powell on 7th Avenue. And then now, of course, I remember that.
That's the first one. I mean, like, that's not the first one. I'm raised in Harlem. And one of the fortunate things was that we had the opportunity to open up our first store right where currently Dunkin' Donuts is on Central Park and Lenox Avenue. So we made that corner sweet before Dunkin' Donuts did. We were there from 95 to 05. And that was our first location. And then, that was a historical space on 139th Street. If you recall Better Pie Crust, that was a landmark bakery in Harlem for close to 50 years. And at the point that they were closing that store, they offered us that location. So within less than 5 years, we opened up 2 stores in Harlem, one at the tip of Harlem, 110th and Central Park and Lenox, and then 139th and 7th, which that's the store that my mother and my brothers run since 99.
Nice.
And kind of left me on 110th Street, which was fine.
Yeah, okay.
It was fine. The family harmony is amazing. So to have my family a part of this business throughout has been one big celebration. So from there, when we closed 110th Street was 116th. We were there for a little bit over 10 years. And during the time of the opportunity of renegotiating staying on 116th, the opportunity came to us to open up on 125th Street, which, and I know Loretta is on 125th Street as well, it is what I call the main street of Harlem. When you get to certain points of Harlem, growing up, my grandfather had a barbershop on Sugar Hill. That was where you wanted to be. There were certain places in Harlem that defined your business. It defined your growth. It validated your ability to withstand the changes. And changes are great. So when we were leaving 110th Street, I left there kicking and screaming. I just was like, wait, this is our first store. I felt like we were going to be there forever, but it was a good lesson in real estate. And I'm excited about where we are now. I mean, we have a coffee shop within this location called I Like It Black. So coffee first, curious people who are really coffee enthusiasts, and we're teaching people to be that as well. So being in a brick and mortar within Harlem has been a real testimony to just the graduation of being able to just get to different levels within the business itself. It is really important that when we do step into brick and mortars and have these expansion plans, that we have the ability to be able to withstand the obstacles that come our way. And we can write a book on that.
So Aliyyah, I want to ask you, your longevity is something to be just applauded, first of all. So I'm gonna give you some applause right now. I want to hear from you. What are the things that you have learned that has allowed you to have the staying power that you've had? Because what all three of you are doing is some of the hardest things to do retail in New York, anywhere, is hard. I think Harlem, in some ways, it's easier because we have community and we support each other, but it still ain't easy. So, Aliyyah, tell us a little bit about what you think are the main factors in why you're here today and have had successful success in different locations and still having that success.
I definitely credit the people that I've had around me. I learned early about what it meant to have an advisory board, and an advisory board of people who just really support and love you without any transaction. It's like, it wasn't for a fee. It wasn't for a barter. It was generally to see the success of the business that my mother started in 1975, so we're going to add another 20 years to when she started the business, to us being able to put it into a brick and mortar. Some of the issues that I ran into that were highlighted during COVID was the fact that Black women are not financially supported by institutions that are right down the block from us. And there was some Hail Marys, a lot of Hail Marys that got us to get the door open. And those were not to be assumed that they can be consistent, because whoever was at that bank at the time, who was empathetic about what we were doing, I didn't want them to be empathetic. I came there with treats in hand, with items like, this is a legitimate business that has withstained being in a home for several years. And convincing individuals it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. I know I checked all the boxes. I had my business plan. I had customer testimonies. I did all the things that they said they want, for me to do. But I realized that some of them were just very passive. They were not willing. They didn't think I would meet those requests. But at the point that I, bootstrapped, I mean, we, as we can all testify, we probably bootstrapped some opportunities recent. And I just want to make sure that the financial institutions that come into our community know that they are here to support the small businesses, because we are the heartbeat of our community. To have a ice cream place, to have other bakeries, we offer comfort. And there has to be not the assumption that because we've been long standing, which I also ran into in this location on 125th Street, that we're good, that we didn't need any financial help, that what I asked for was too much. And I was like, wait, I built out 1, 2, 3, at that point, 4 stores. We can't forget about our location on Columbus and 98th Street. I mean, the survival of that store would have been able to stand the test of time, but we were in the belly of COVID and then building out this location. And I had to make a strategic decision to close that store. And one of the things that we have to face as entrepreneurs is realizing when to close a door and to allow another one to open. And those are things that we have to take note of. I think for longevity, that advisory board, the right person that is advising you outside of just your inner circle. I mean, defining it as a personal advisory board. I mean, I have to tell you, I've just added some more to the board because some are no longer with us. But there was that ability for me to be able to just bounce off ideas, but really just to be able to say, how do I approach this? Because I wasn't sure how to articulate my want to someone that I needed to provide. And it's invaluable to have that. And building relationships over the years is really key. I mean, we are a generational bakery. We are doing wedding cakes for people who we did baby showers for. So having that consistent of building a relationship, and we were doing this before social media, so it's really important that no matter what source that you have to communicate with your clients, that you are always the first thought on their mind about a celebration, about a sweet treat, something that is just really, as you know, I go back to, we're in the world of hospitality and comfort, and we have to always be that way. You know, I tell my employees, I can teach you how to sell a slice of cake, but I can't teach you how to smile. So it's really important that that's also echoed within the store. My staff usually gets mistaken for a family member because I really force them to be over the top in saying this, because we're We're also in a community that where the medium income is not as high as if we were downtown. And so, excuse me. So to spend your money here is a dedication.
Wow.
And so those attributes have been really important for us to be able to stay viable within a community, to have 2 stores within a community. That's really, really crucial that we have the support outside of these 4 walls, because Lord knows there's days
so true.
Better, but we can all say there's days when I'm like, oh, I gotta go in.
But you show up. That's right. All right. Yeah. And you know what, Aliyyah? Absolutely. Who knew that smiling and having a smile would actually lend to increasing or highlighting your brand? Who knew? You know? Yeah. So, and Petrushka. So you have to say that the first one is always the hardest, and I'm talking about your first store location. But then I will also say this, that, and I've seen a number of entrepreneurs out there that expand or perish. So I know that you talked about the next one and the next one, but go ahead now. Tell us about that first one.
Well, I would say that the first one, the second one, not the third one, but the fourth one, all have been their own journeys. The first one, we had built out, like, we gut renovated the store. I will say though, I always have to give props to Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone US, because they have always been our lender. And they have, the first time, because we had no track record, we had to give them our life and our 3 children in order for them to decide to give us some money to open, right? But they have truly been a funding partner that has been with us over the last 8 years. And now I think they're funding businesses outside of Upper Manhattan too. So if anybody's listening who's
interesting,
I would reach out. But so they were integral to our opening, because we had to, because what was in our first store prior to was not a food establishment. It was a nail salon that I actually frequented. So we needed to build it out and change, the frontage and all this stuff. So there was a lot of learning there. We're still paying for some of that learning, just like who you, bring on to do the general contracting work or whatever.
Oh, that part.
That part. But yeah. So the journey of just doing it for the first time while you're also pregnant with your 3rd child, it's a process, while you're also working another job, it was cute. But after the 6 months of us being open, I decided that, and the delivery of that 3rd child, I was like, okay, we all need to be focused on this, because there's something here. And so the second store actually happened because that first store is only 500 square feet. There is no storage. There's nothing else. So we would be open in the afternoon to the evening, and then we would turn the space over from midnight to 7 to make the ice cream. And we did that for 2.5 years. It was not sustainable. I do not recommend. But so it became clear very early on that, this little experiment, it might actually work a little bit, but what we could afford was that 500 square feet. So we were like, let's find another space so that we can make the ice cream. But can we sustain the rent of another space if we don't have enough revenue to generate to cover that rent, right? Like there was just so much we didn't know. So we couldn't, ice cream is different. You can't just pop into a, ghost kitchen or a commissary, that's making, other food because of all of the sort of regulation around dairy. So that was not an option for us at that time, to just rent space in a kitchen, because people were like, why did you get a store then? It's because I couldn't just pop in, and rent a space for a few hours. Just the equipment and it just was not. It was prohibitive. So we ended up finding this space on Broadway and 149th that had not been used for maybe a decade. It was a barbershop prior to our occupancy. And we finally signed a fully executed lease summer of 2019, and then the landlord was supposed to do their landlord work in starting January of 2020. Nick was like, I think we need to start at the same time, frankly, and I was like, all right. So we broke ground at the same time as January 2020, and then guess what happened in March 2020? Okay,
not
COVID. And what was really crazy is like, I think we have a pretty high risk tolerance because we were still lining up our capital.
Wow.
We had a down payment for the space. We did that, and then we could like pay the contract a little bit, but we still had not fully resolved all of the funding for this project. Okay. And then a bank in our community said that they were gonna go and give us the financing, and then ghosted. They had brought in another funding partner, and that was going to do 25% of the loan. They were going to do 75%, and then the funding partner's like, all right, well, we're ready to go, let's do it. Radio silence. So I was losing my mind. In 2020, we're building out a store. My children are remote learning. I have a toddler. My bank ghosted me. And then it was and we're breaking ground. Okay. But then that lending partner that came in at 25% ended up, I was able to get them to see the light and the vision. They came in at 100%. And so we ended up doing a 7A SBA loan. That second
nice.
store. And so the third store, which was in Timeout Market, that was probably the easiest from the starting point because they already built it out. They were just basically saying, hey, we like your brand, we're inviting you into the food hall, and you want to come. And for us, it was a matter of figuring out the of how, we're Harlem based. Everything we do is in Harlem. We live in Harlem. We live right across the street from the first store. So we're like, we got to go to Brooklyn now? All right, well, we'll figure it out. So that was the hard part of that, but then we figured it out. And, to Leah's point of knowing when is the right time to close something, we just closed that location after 4 years of being there in August. And the reason why was because, it was just costing too much to be there, because the way that model works is they take a percentage of your sales. And so that percentage was getting to be a little too much. The juice was no longer worth the squeeze. And so we were like, we just need to focus and be uptown. But after we opened in 2021 in the market, we waited a couple years and we were like, we need to be in East Harlem. And I always say, I was like, that was our egos making that decision. We were like, well, we've been at it, a few years. People seem to like what we're doing. Let's go to East Harlem. But all of the due diligence that we did for the Lenox store, for the Broadway store, we did not do for the East Harlem store. We were just like, well, we've been here, so it'll be okay. We don't, counting foot traffic, being on it like that. We were doing that in the beginning, and then we didn't do it at the end. And the East Harlem store, if any of you listening in East Harlem, come and visit us over there, okay? It's lit. There's no line, okay? It's you can just sit there the whole day. And it's,
what's the address in East Harlem?
1642 Lexington Avenue between 103 and 104. And and the thing is, it's what I love about this business is that my neighbors are my customers are my neighbors, right? And so the Lenox store, it was hard because it was our first one. There was a lot of life dynamic happening, right? But it was across the street. So, the commute wasn't bad. If something's going on, you can go and figure it out, quickly. But I think when the East Harlem is a special place. I mean, you travel 4 blocks, you're in a different neighborhood. Right?
And the neighborhoods are very different. Very distinct, okay?
Very different. And so, and East Harlem is I used to live in Sugar Hill. That's why we call it Sugar Hill Creamery. There's history along from 119th to 148th. The store is on 149th, but I used to live on 148th. But there's not as much for us connection and history in East Harlem, and I do think that that's in part there's not the same connection. Anyway, so come and visit us in East Harlem, okay? We're going to be doing birthday parties and buyouts there. And so people can host their kids' birthdays if they have winter babies like me. But that's been the journey, I mean, and none of it has been easy, but I think also when you are very clear what your purpose is and what your vision is, it's there's going to be some obstacles. There's going to be a lot of that, and you just got to hurdle over. All right, we're just going to keep doing this marathon with hurdles. And
Gotcha. Well,
Hey, Petrushka, I got a question for you. I want to hear a little bit about your product development because you got some flavors over there. So tell me a little bit about. Oh, see how she's smiling right now. That's what we want to hear about.
Story. I will try to keep it brief. Basically, when we had this idea, neither one of us, I mean, Nick has gone to culinary school. I was like, well, if you want to open a place one day, I think you need to go to culinary school. That's a good idea. I'll do that. And so, but his experience has never been working on a line with the kitchen. So he never calls himself a chef, even though our production team, they'll be like, chef, what do we want to do about this? And I mean, he answers, but he just never will regard himself in that way because he's like, I haven't done the time on the line, you know? But that said, so when we opened, he was not the ice cream maker. We actually were always like, we'll have a pastry chef will contract and they will do the flavor development and do some of the production and we will manage the like business operations. But this is the thing. We opened July 29th of 2017. With the way ice cream works is you make the majority of your money in a very short period of time. And then you have to manage your cash flow for the rest of the year so that you can continue to exist. We did not have the summer runway that you would have if we had opened, let's say in March, right? We had July 29th. Until it got cold and we were new. So there was not a lot of reserve. So we hit the first quarter of 2018 and we were like, we're not doing out of some money here. Like, I don't know how this is going to work. And so we had to make some very hard decisions about like how to shave off expenses and not, and still continue to exist. And so at that time, the person that was doing the pastry development and recipe development, Nick was like, I really wish he would kind of push a little bit more creativity, more, I don't know how I'm feeling about what he's producing. He's a lovely person. And after basically we made the decision to let him go, he let us stay on his Disney Plus account for many years. Okay, so he is.
Oh wow!
That is a genuine and generous spirit, and that needs to be acknowledged. Anyway, but that said, Nick was making some of the flavors, and so I was just like, well, the flavors that you're making and the flavors that he's making, which ones are performing better? Which ones are the most popular? And it turned out that Nick's flavors were the most popular. So it was because of that cash flow crunch that we unlocked this hidden amazing talent that this man has that nobody knew. Even his mother was like, I had no idea he could do this. And I was like, you're welcome, Judy. You're welcome. But he basically makes all the flavors. I mean, he has at this point, he has a formula that he uses to develop the flavors. He's actually about to present at our annual ice cream conference that we go to every year with a lot of ice cream makers and operators. It's called ConeCon. It's in November. But he's going to present with another colleague who has one of the only James Beard nominated ice cream shops. They're going to present on flavor development and how they approach it. She's telling a story of the land because she works with a lot of farmers it's like very rural, like New Hampshire. And I feel like we are telling the story of Harlem and culture and preserving that. And so they're going to talk about how they do it with their, how the, texture and flavor profiles. And I don't want to give it all away. You just got to go to ConeCon or just come to the store and experience it for yourself. But at the end of the day, we are like transferring experience. We're transferring memory. We're transferring cultural culinary norms in my culture, both being from the Caribbean and African American. His culture being from the Midwest. He was raised on a farm in rural Iowa. So we're just sharing these different thoughts. And also in Harlem, we do a lot of collaborations. Aliyyah and I have been talking. We gonna circle back, Aliyyah. I think there's a series in my mind that I want to bring to pass maybe by next August. It's gonna be lit. I've been thinking about it for like literally 2 to 3 years, but I've been thinking about it too late. And I think about it in the summertime. I can't do anything in the summer, so we got a plan in the winter for that. But we do a lot of collaborations, and we like at the end of the day, this business is a gift to Harlem because it is our home, and we love it. And it's never, the vision is not, people are like, oh, do you want to be like Van Leeuwen or Jenny's or Salt and Straw? And I'm like, no, not really. Don't want to open 18,000 stores. You got to come here to experience it. And so we're those are that. I mean, I don't know if I answered your question.
Oh, absolutely, great answer. Now I got one more quick question, and then I want to flip it back to Loretta and Aliyyah because I want to hear their product development journey. But I want to ask you, Petrushka, what is your how do you shift your product line during the winter months when people aren't coming for ice cream? What are you doing to get people in the store in December, January, February, March?
So a couple things. In 2018, we started making a hot chocolate, and I was like, we've always been very intentional. This is an ice cream company, so what we're not going to have is salads and soups, because people are like, you're going to sell salads and soups, and I was like, that got nothing to do with ice cream. We are an ice cream brand, and that's what we will be. So in 2018, we were like, oh, let's start making hot chocolate. People love hot chocolate. How can it be on brand? And that is, we make it with our vanilla ice cream. So we've been making it that way since 2018, but ice cream did not get viral until a couple of years ago. People were like, oh, you're copying this place. I'm like, stop it. These are these posts from 2018 to present where we have been talking about the same product. So that hot chocolate for us, like there was a viral post that went out a couple of years ago that really helped bring visibility to that. So people do come for the hot chocolate. We also are now rolling out, like we have a peach cobbler that we started doing last February. Nice. We're bringing that back. So you can have that a la mode with our cinnamon hot honey ice cream. We are going to be tomorrow at Chef JJ's, the cookout, and we're going to be serving a custard tart with a Haitian hot chocolate ice cream scoop and a torched marshmallow fluff and so that, like bringing additional desserts, but that either complement ice cream or ice cream base is how we do it. And we do a lot of programming as well. Again, my background is in museum education and curatorial practice. So I've always been interested in the convening of people. And so the programming that we do at the store also is a draw. We also will always let people use our tables, right? They're like Community Board 10 was like, oh, we want to do a dessert and conversation series. I was like, okay. So then they hosted that at the store, and that was during the winter time. And just like having bodies in the store is, I think when you're walking by, you're like, oh, what's that place? I don't know what that place. I think they sell ice cream or something. I don't know, but their people are there. Like that also helps invite people in. But at the end of the day, we're more than ice cream. We are a third space in our community for people to be able to connect, and for us to live out our mission, which is turning strangers into neighbors, neighbors into friends, friends into family. You're not necessarily going to become a stranger and go into family, though that has happened. But if we can bring you from one relational step to the next, then we have accomplished our job while also serving you some very good, thoughtfully made ice cream. So, and in February we do a ice cream for breakfast day, which is, so they're like fun things. You come in pajamas, you eat ice cream for breakfast.
Yeah. So of course, LA. Now you've heard expansion. You've heard this now, right? So you're going to tell me if there's some plans, but also using your particular brand to bring community together. And tell us about that. What are some of the special treats I could expect there at LA Sweets?
Okay, so let's start with the expansion. So we just recently opened up a new location on 125th, as we had mentioned. And we're between 7th and 8th. It's been great. I mean, the community has come in and supported us a lot over there, and it's a new journey for us. So it's not always easy, but it's good, and it feels good to be there because I feel like I'm in the midst of all these legendary people just being right next to the Apollo, not too far from the Apollo.
Oh yes,
yes. It's a wonderful feeling and a wonderful experience. As far as flavors are concerned, so now we grew up in a household where my mom always baked for us, so and we get to love my sister and I from my mom. So she used to always make a coconut pineapple cake. That necessarily wasn't my favorite growing up, but just recently it just went viral, that coconut pineapple cake. My favorite, simple vanilla with chocolate, vanilla cake and good old fashioned chocolate buttercream frosting. But because that coconut pineapple went viral, now that's been the flavor that everybody wants. So we pretty much go on based on what the community likes, and we hear a lot of requests on things that they like. So the number one flavors are red velvet signature.
Oh Lord, okay.
With a whipped cream cheese frosting, that coconut pineapple, and then we have that our next one is that vanilla with chocolate. That chocolate. So based on that, that's based on the community and what they like. That strawberry crunch now, she goes some. And people don't know some of our items are vegan. So, we do it with oat milk and no dairy. And I guess it's so good that people just don't even know or care if it's vegan or not.
I'm loving this, so I got to throw this out there. So, NightWatchman, we certainly do know out of Brooklyn, we have, of course, Cake Man Raven. But hey, we don't have to go to Brooklyn because we got you, LA, right?
Yes, you do. Right in the heart of Harlem.
There you go. Go ahead, NightWatchman.
Cake Man Raven has a place in Harlem.
Yes, I know that one, but you know what? I want to give my shine to my folks right here in Harlem, buddy. You know that.
Okay, all right, okay. Listen, I support all of them, but I'm loving this conversation. I have to tell you, it's been a delight to hear you guys, your journey. I want to flip it to Aliyyah now because I want to hear, because her product development started before her, with the generation before her.
Yes.
But I also know that food is about trends and tastes change over time. So how do you continue to have your classics, but also maybe update it here and there to keep pace with what people are liking these days?
You're on mute.
Yeah. Did you mute me? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was saying that's a great question because for us to, our family's from Mississippi. Mississippi, Alabama to Harlem River houses.
Wow.
So from there, I feel like my grandmother packed a suitcase of recipes, and we really had the opportunity to be able to take from those Southern classics and something that, my mom by trade is a nutritionist, and she loves to remix things, and I gotta grab that from her. And I feel like there's those classics, and then you kind of take it up. So we have on our menu classics and signatures. So even though Red Velvet may be on the classic menu, the signature version of it is going to have toasted pecans, and it's going to be accompanied with a layer of butter cake. So what we've done is create versions of a cake that you would normally want to come in, because there's customers who just won't budge off of buttercream. They won't budge off of the chocolate layer. They won't budge off of the double chocolate. And, the classic, as Loretta stated, like classic Southern cakes is coconut pineapple. And what I'll do around the holidays or specific times of the year, I will redo the menu of some specific cakes. And so which will come in, we usually do it in November, December, but my team slipped it into the showcase this week. We have we're known for our sweet potato cheesecake. That was created by my younger brother, he's a retired fireman, but a chef by
wow, it's in the DNA. Wow.
Yes. And that was a special that we put on in our shop and back in the 90s, and it's the one special item that never left. Wow. So that's how much the demand it was. And so what we do is we pair it with a layer of butter cake, and we call it our cheesecake cake. It's like a tongue twister. It's a cheesecake layer cake. And and that is, so that one is, I was walking down the street the other day, and a client said, she said, is the cake back? I said, what cake? And she said, the one with the cheesecake and the icing and the cake. And so when a customer validates something, that also adds to our development of how we will keep something on the menu. This in the coffee shop, that's the only place I said you're going to get pumpkin, because we are sweet potato pie all day. And but my team, as I said, I threw them a lifeline. I said, y'all can make something with pumpkin. And so we got some pumpkin cheesecake bars. We got some pumpkin snickerdoodle cookies.
Wow.
I think they're working on a pumpkin coffee cake. So these things that we play to, we make a whimsical version of something that you will see as a classic. And that has been what we've done over the years. And, I will reveal this later, later time. And I will see you tomorrow as well at the cookout, because we're going to be presenting our vegan carrot cake at that event.
Okay.
The joke was I was going to do red velvet as well, but I got a lot of no's on that. and y'all mentioned Raven. I mean, a fun fact. Me and Raven was doing cakes out of our homes in the 80s.
Wow.
Raven was doing cakes uptown Harlem, and I was doing cakes down on 113th and 7th, in our family apartment. And, there was always that joy of knowing that we were catering to a community that really loved us. So, so I mean, and I'm a lover of sweets. I stay in Sugar Hill. I stay there. Yes, I've had your products. Because I'm a sweetie by trade, and I think for us, what we do, we are constantly evolving. We are constantly listening to our customers, and I think any flavor component really is a challenge based on what our customers like. I mean, with those new products that was in the showcase, I had to laugh because I was sitting in the show in the bakery, and they didn't really realize that I was listening. But the customers was like, "Oh my God, we got the pumpkin. Oh my gosh, she says she never does pumpkin. Buy 3 of them because it might not be here tomorrow."
Nice. Oh, nice.
If I can't feel it like a sweet potato, it's not getting made.
Very, very nice. And you know what? Okay, so we talked about expansion. So now, what about, let's say, because I know it can be somewhat difficult. And Petrushka, I remember having a discussion with you when you were looking at an opportunity, I believe, in Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, well, I think we talked about it. You were the first one. You were very early. You were like, y'all need to be here. And I was like, Curtis, I am trying to get my life in Harlem right now. Like, I cannot think about another state, let alone a small island next to you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it wasn't, it's actually, it's not an opportunity that was presented to me. But last summer, or 2 summers ago, I was just getting a lot of text messages. A lot of our customers spend time, they go July, August, and they spend time on the vineyard. They're like, why are you all not here? And I was like, again, because I've just been trying to get my life here in Harlem. But I felt like this was I went this summer for the first time. That's not a place where, we spent time in the summer. My mom was like, yeah, that's what my rich friends did, and then we saw them back in the city. But I went for the first time this summer just to kind of understand the culture of ice cream there. And ice cream is definitely like people, they line up, they wait, and there are a few, companies that have the attention of those who spend time there. I don't think that is an opportunity for us in a brick and mortar sense, but I'm gonna put it out here like this right now. I do think that there is, what I would like to do is bring what we do from a corporate catering perspective to the island for that period of time. So there are a lot of conversations, there are a lot of like 5 to 7 porch moments, and I would like to be the ice cream caterer of choice on the island during that time. And figuring out how to get there, that's what's on my list of things, along with many other things on my list.
So let me ask you this, Petrushka. Have you ever thought about a mobile kind of version that is geared toward, there's so many outdoor activities from Memorial Day to Labor Day. in Harlem and in around New York.
So we have carts. That's what we built our corporate catering program from. So we do a lot of corporate catering where we're going to people's offices, in Midtown and downtown and Brooklyn and the Bronx, like people's offices, people's schools, people's lobbies, and we use those carts. But the whole like mobile vending thing, I started that research and then I got distracted and then a child asked for a snack. And so then, we've been derailed. And so I have not secured a mobile vending license so that we can move through Harlem without any issue to sell the ice cream. But I'm doing the Goldman Sachs 10K Small Businesses program right now. And the whole point of it is to like think about how do you scale your business? And I want to scale intentionally. I'm not interested in scaling for the sake of scaling. I want to continue to be where my feet are, which is in Harlem. But, what does this company look like? Like the reality is everybody's not coming to Harlem to taste it. And we spend a lot of good time, operating this business. I do want as many people to enjoy what it is that we are making as possible. But again, without disrupting the integrity of our life, our product, our company. And so that mobile concept is something that I'm kind of teasing at. Like, what does it look like? Do we, how they have the delicioso coco helado, like the coco helado.
Right, right.
Is there an opportunity for us to develop some similar program? I don't know. All of these things will be determined and figured out in 2 months when the program is over. But we do. But it's just to say we do have carts. We do use them, but we don't move them throughout the streets because the majority of our workforce is like between the ages of 18 and 21. So I'm also not. I need to have it locked in and keep, dialed in before I send my young people out. And I don't have that part dialed in to be able to be a mobile vendor. So,
Gotcha. Well, I guess one of the things in terms of, let's say, we know that the summer offers opportunities in terms of street fairs, a number of them, including I'm thinking about, because I like house music, so I can say Sunday sermon. So you guys ever thought about participating in any of those activities?
Go ahead. Oh, everybody.
Yeah, Aliyyah, tell me. Do tell.
That was part of my humble beginnings.
Jazzmobile. Go ahead now.
My building during the parade.
Yeah.
So for us, our expansion is in a tiered approach. I definitely, if you want to talk about, we could talk. I'm also exploring the vineyard just in regards to just seeing it.
Nice.
I've gone there the last several years, and I see the opportunity because our customer base shifts. So it's either they pack up cake when they go, or I just got to be there when they're there.
Yes.
So I've been putting on my thinking cap with that, and just looking at where the business will be as impactful, as far as profitable. So it has to be. There is a labor of love with the existence in Harlem, and I look at being in Harlem no different than being on the Upper West Side. There can be multiples of our locations that we've proven that as many other businesses have proven. Because Harlem can be, I don't know if anyone's paying attention, but the Black ownership of businesses has dwindled substantially. And for me to be the only Black woman coffee shop owner in Harlem, it's a little weird for me because I stepped into that space of coffee really by chance. The space afforded me that opportunity, and I'm loving it. I'm loving that. So whatever I do but make my cake, I take I Like It Black with it. And the hospitality of Harlem, I am looking at what the expansion opportunities look like with other businesses that are looking to do that, and so cooperatively that we can move as a unit. And when you do that, it does give a lot more visibility and more sustainability and also negotiation power in the locations that you're looking to do. So it's as far as doing the street fairs, I had a mobile truck. And I did away with that during COVID because we were at a standstill I totally relate to everything about building out during the crisis, and we got our loan from UMES 2 weeks before the city shut down.
Wow.
So, but it was a fight. I mean, when you talk about giving up your kids and the kidney and the toe, I felt like I signed on my son. I feel like they got deeds to me for life, because it was a lot for me to take on this project, because the financial support was a struggle.
Gotcha.
So anything that we do, we are stepping into a space of getting investors and getting a partner that is already in that world of culinary hospitality, so that we are expanding as a course. I mean, I'm 30 years plus in this, and I want a second career. I'm listening to my other sweeties here, and they're talking about, yeah, I did hair, and I did this before. I hear that a lot, and I've done a ton of things in these decades, but there are things that are true to my heart that I want to be able to do, and it's going to still be cake related, but in a way that I'm rebranding the business that will be sustainable.
Okay.
Because I've seen too many transitions of just us in our moves that have questioned sustainability, and I have a job as an entrepreneur to make sure that I'm providing jobs for my team, and it wasn't. So whatever I do, my goal is to create more entrepreneurs, and that expansion looks like that, to create more entrepreneurs. So I'm excited about what's next. So you got to stay tuned.
Yeah, absolutely. So NightWatchman, you know where we're in. Can you say lightning round? All right. So ladies, what I want you to talk about the future, what you anticipate, what you're looking forward to, and do it in a nice, succinct fashion. And we shall start off with you, LA. Do tell us, what can we expect from LA Sweets?
Well, we can expect more work in the community. I mean, for the last 8 years, excuse me, I've been so busy in store. Now we're finally getting a chance to get outside, and really work with the kids. I have a passion for kids, and I find that a lot of kids are interested in becoming their own, building their own, and we want to make sure we impart that in kids and our next generation to go after whatever it is that you desire and you see your vision in your life.
Excellent. All right, now Petrushka, what can we expect? Sugar Hill, come on.
Well, you can expect peach cobblers a la mode and hot chocolates and other yummy winter appropriate desserts. We just dropped a flavor with Sanford Biggers. We have something fun coming up with a soul food matriarch in our community in November. But in terms of our vision as a company, more of what we're doing, just really thinking, more of what we're doing. That's what I will say.
More of what they're doing. So, yes. Okay. Aliyyah, what do we got?
All right. So what I'm doing right now is we're about to step into shipping. So I've separated some products that are going to be just very specific to our e-commerce. We are bringing in some potential people who are already established within their world of entrepreneurship, and we're going to be allowing them to use our kitchen as so that they can start building their business. So that's our give back to our community in the sense of just creating that foundation for these entrepreneurs to be able to step out on their own. And then we're also, I Like It Black Coffee Shop it is my new baby. It is a community favorite. It is all about you loving the word coffee, not just the word milk and creamers and sugar and syrups. So we are getting our clients to enjoy our coffee in a way that is more in an educational space. So we're going to be hosting events in here that will be more in that teaching space about just loving what you drink in that world of tea and coffee. And we are in the process of expanding that business model into another location in 2026.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you know what, Aliyyah, before I let you go, let's go quickly. Give me the addresses of your stores. Go ahead.
Yes, we are at 409 West 125th Street, right off of Morningside Avenue. And our other location, which is named lovingly after my grandmother now, it's called Ma Smith's Dessert Cafe. That is at 2380 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard on the corner of 139.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Petrushka, give me your locations.
We're 184 Malcolm X Boulevard or Lenox Avenue, on corner of 119th, 3629 Broadway, between 149 and 150, and then 1642 Lexington, between 103 and 104, and between Memorial Day and Labor Day, we're in Stuytown. So if anybody's lives in Stuytown or has family there, we operate from a mobile. It's not mobile actually; it's like a cute vintage ice cream truck. But we're there during those months.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. LA, locations.
We are at 192 Lenox Avenue or Malcolm X Boulevard, and our second location is on 219 West 125th Street.
Ooh, NightWatchman. So, will they be invited back to the cookout? I want to know.
Well, first of all, they're going to be on the cookout of their own tomorrow, but of course they'll be invited back to our cookout, and I hope they bring the desserts. That's all I can say.
Yes, that's right. So no potato salad, especially with no damn raisins. Is that correct? I'm just checking. Okay. Anyway. Y'all, this has been great, incredible discussion. NightWatchman, will you take us home?
Absolutely. Actually, let's go out for ice cream and cake and hot chocolate. Let's go there before we go home.
Yeah.
Okay.
This has been Soul Lounge Prime Time on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. Also live streaming on YouTube and Facebook. You can always find us on Monday night, 7 p.m. on the radio and 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. Thanks so much for our guests today for sharing their insights and experience and sharing the baked and created love that they serve out every day here in Harlem. Yes.
Harlem, baby.
Yes, indeed.
Incredible show, y'all.